The ninth volume begins by describing Arnus, where the Japan self-defense forces are preparing for the final battle against Zorzal's army. Despite the high morale of the soldiers, anxiety prevails among the city's inhabitants due to the possible closure of the gate, which would deprive them of their established way of life. In this tense atmosphere, Prince Diabo, hiding in Arnus, sets his plan in motion. By manipulating the cantina staff, he orchestrates Lelei's kidnapping. She is drugged and placed in a shipping crate, which is sent through the gate to Japan under the guise of returned goods. Diabo's goal is to hand Lelei over to his Chinese allies to use her ability to control the gate for his own interests. At the same time, Tuka, Kuribayashi, and Tomita arrive in Japan. In Ginza, they find themselves at the epicenter of a large-scale, well-organized international protest, with participants demanding that the gate be placed under UN control. The demonstration quickly escalates into a riot. The rioters purposefully attack a cargo convoy from the special region and steal the crate containing the sleeping Lelei. Parallel to these events, Lieutenant Itami is under strict quarantine at the JSDF Central Hospital. This was prompted by an incident during an experiment to open portals in Japan. Itami carelessly glanced into a random world that reminded him of the movie Alien. Fearing he might have been infected with an unknown alien parasite, the command immediately placed him in an isolation unit for examination. His situation was only made worse by his own inappropriate jokes on the subject, which led to increased security, even including soldiers with flamethrowers. While in isolation, Itami learns from Minister Kano over the phone that Lelei has been kidnapped and is likely in the hands of China. Realizing that official channels are paralyzed by diplomatic complexities, Itami decides to act on his own. He stages an intimate scene with Tuka, who has come to visit, in order to get rid of the round-the-clock guards. With the help of Kuribayashi, Tomita, and Nurse Kurokawa, he and Tuka manage a daring escape from the hospital by rappelling down a fire rope from the roof. In the special region, Zorzal's army attacks the forces of the legitimate government outside the walls of Italica. Piña, commanding the defense, makes the bold decision to fight in the open field rather than hide behind the walls, so as not to give her brother Zorzal the chance to retreat and prolong the war. A bloody battle begins. The demi-human troops in Piña's nightly orders desperately hold back the numerically superior enemy. Zorzal, confident in his victory, throws more and more forces into the battle, trying to wear down the defenders. The volume ends at the very peak of this decisive battle, the outcome of which will determine the future of the empire, while in Japan, Itami and his small group go on the run to save Lelei. While the main forces of the JSDF and their allies are waging war against Zorzal in the special region, an international crisis unfolds in Japan. Under the pretext of a peaceful protest demanding the gate be handed over to UN control, agents led by China orchestrate large-scale riots in Ginza. They manage to capture the garrison around the gate, cutting off the expeditionary force's communication with Japan. In the chaos, they kidnap Lelei, who had been secretly transported to Japan in the previous volume, mistakenly believing she was in one of the trucks. Upon learning of the kidnapping, the Japanese government decides to act unofficially. Minister Kano secretly organizes an operation to return to the special region to rescue Lelei and deliver an order to General Hazama. Itami is appointed to lead the mission, joined by Tuka, Kuribayashi, and Tomita. Their plan is to execute a risky nighttime parachute jump from an altitude of 13,000 feet directly onto the roof of the besieged dome in Ginza. Meanwhile, in the special region, the Ida-10 order, full readiness for retreat, issued due to the loss of communication with Japan, causes chaos and panic among the residents of Arnus. The situation worsens when Zorzal's spies activate their biological weapons, monsters called Dar, disguised as refugee children. The monsters begin a massacre in the refugee camp, and the few remaining JSDF soldiers in Arnus, led by Major Higaki, and ALC mercenaries, led by Yao, engage in a desperate fight to protect the civilians. Amidst this chaos, Prince Diabo, who had previously kidnapped Lelei, tries to use the panic to seize power in Arnus, delivering fiery speeches and turning the residents against the JSDF. However, his plans are thwarted when female Chinese operatives, who have arrived to retrieve Lelei, infiltrate the city. They capture Diabo's double, Metmes, and learn of the prince's plans from him. At this moment, Rory intervenes and takes Diabo under her patronage, offering him the position of Arnus's manager in exchange for information on Lelei's whereabouts. Itami and his group successfully land, but their arrival on the dome causes even more turmoil. Inside the dome, they encounter Chinese agents and their Western allies, who are also hunting for Lelei. During the three-way confrontation and the ensuing firefight, the gate sustains critical damage and begins to collapse, opening portals to other hostile worlds. A swarm of giant insect-like monsters emerges from one of the portals, attacking everyone indiscriminately. While Rory, Tuka, Kuribayashi, and the others hold back the monstrous onslaught, Lelei explains that the only way to close the rift is to destroy the giant magic circle reflected in the sky, which was actually the defensive structures of Arnus. Itami and Tomita set off to plant explosives. At the same time in the special region, General Helm loses the battle against Piña, and Zorzal himself, abandoned by his own army, is found and killed by Tayul, who also dies at his hand, thus achieving her revenge. Itami successfully detonates the magic circle, causing a massive earthquake across the world and completely destroying the gate. All connections between the worlds are severed. 4 years pass. Kuribayashi Nanami becomes a famous host of her own online news channel. The former members of the 3rd Recon Team live peaceful lives in Japan. Kano and Natsumi hold high positions in the government. In Akihabara, the National Center for the Preservation of Manga and Anime is opened, an initiative by Kano to fulfill a promise made to Itami. During an event celebrating the center's opening, all the old comrades gather together. Suddenly, Itami appears along with Rory, Tuka, Lelei, Yao, and Piña. Lelei explains that thanks to Itami's obsession with Komaket and Akihabara, she was able to use it as an anchor, and after much trial and error, opened a new gate right in that location. The story ends with the connection between the worlds restored, and the heroes are together again. I'd like to add my personal take. Although the story is finished, in my opinion, many things were left unsaid, which could have been used to write a sequel, but most likely the author was just tired. We weren't shown the other apostles, other gods and their power, nor the potential war with creatures from other worlds. After all, Hardy was surely not the only one who could open portals and grant that power to Lelei. If someone was able to open the very first portal, it means others will follow. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this brief recap of these volumes. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. Bye-bye.